that to you, in the game?
Well, I think anytime that you take the floor early in the season, you want to see where your team is. And I think for our guys, I think you saw a little bit better fight. And we talked about that after the Georgetown game. Getting out rebounded. This was a game that we focused all week on coming back, playing with a little bit more aggression, playing with a little bit more fight on both ends of the floor, especially once the ball was, shot offensively and defensively, play with a little bit more physicality. I think you saw that out of some guys tonight, which was good.
Hey, why do you think EJ struggled so much in these preseason games, given that he's done this before?
I think EJ is trying to figure things out, just like a lot of these guys are. Everyone has a little bit of a different role in their first season, the second season, third and fourth. I think what Cal and our staff is trying to do is put him in positions to where he feels the most comfortable, where we can put him in a place to where he is most effective. So I think that, that's a process. And I think EJ's doing everything that he can in practice on his own. And sometimes the ball bounces your way, especially early. You're playing with new teammates. You're playing against teams that are keying in on him. So I think this is an opportunity for him to keep getting better. Like I said earlier, that we just want to see where we are today. And I think he did some good things. He's gotten better, I think. And next thing is we'll see on Tuesday night.
Joe, when you look at Khalil's stat sheet there, is that kind of a fair expectation for what you would like to see from him night in, night out, or are the things still missing there?
Well, I think that, the thing that stood out the other night was, his rebounds in the first game. And then tonight he comes back and has 5 rebounds, 15 points. He was involved in the game, much more tonight. And I think that's what Cal has really got after him, to be a guy that's involved on the ball, off the ball, rebounding, deflections. He's such a live body, and he should be a guy that's a tremendous two-way player, and then he makes shots. So that comes as a byproduct of being involved in the game, being a guy who is trying to, kind of impose his will both ends of the floor. I think that you can expect that out of Khalil. Then the jump shots, I think, are an added bonus.
Coach Cal talked about assessing the level of toughness for this team, and I wanted to see where you thought the team was at, specifically for tonight.
Well, I think we're better than we were against Georgetown, and I think at this time of the season, and I would assume that Cal would say the same thing, you want to get better every single day. When we're on the pursuit of individuals becoming their best version, and then collectively our team becoming our best version, you've got to just take steps each and every day. And I think today was a day that we, got to suit up against somebody else, a team that came out and gave us some different challenges that maybe we were expecting. And I think you go back, you look at the film tonight, you address it tomorrow morning, and then obviously we're getting ready for an opponent on Tuesday night.
Gary, left center.
What did you think of your backcourt chemistry, whether it's 2 guards or 3 guards tonight?
I think our backcourt are tremendous players, first of all. They got great feel. We've got a couple guys with some experience. You've got Tyrese, that's an electric guy on both ends of the floor, and I think they're just going to continue to get better and better. Emmanuel is just a totally different player. He plays with a different swag. He plays with a different level of confidence, a greater purpose, I think, of who he is and who he wants to become. And Ashton's Ashton. He's a guy that comes in, is a big-time, dog on the ball who gets after it, and he's putting pressure on the defense by getting downhill, getting paint touches. And those guys are only going to get better playing together.
Coach, last time these two teams played, right here, Coach Cal had highlighted that KSU exposed some weaknesses in that year's UK team. Did you see anything that was exposed this time, or any weaknesses that you think that you might need to shore up on before your next game?
Well, I think, a team shoots 33s in a game. That's something we're going to go out tonight, take a look at. As a little bit of, especially in the early season, we've had trouble with that here. Teams making threes, even with the line backing up, they get 29 off, they make 8. So, roughly half their points come from behind the line. How many of those were not contested? How many of those did we not leave our feet? Our hands were down. And I think even looking back at last year, especially early, our team struggled early guarding the line. So take a look at that tonight, address it tomorrow morning with the guys, and we'll see. I think that's something that we're going to have to obviously defend throughout the year. It's become such a big part of basketball. So for them to come out and make 8, but then, really shoot a shot 29, that's something we're going to have to really take a close look at tonight.
Go Jerry on the left.
Joe, what did you think of Nate's play tonight? He almost had a double-double again. And it seemed like more he was low posting and was more effective there than just the stretch 4 stuff.
Really, we hadn't worked against zone at all. So some of that was Cal drawing up kind of what he wanted in timeouts or at halftime. That's part of why Nate was down there. I think Nate's energy, is infectious. With this group, you have a group of young people that don't really know what to do. Going back to the 3-pointers, all right, well, you play guys in high school, it's fine to just kind of be there. You're bigger, faster, stronger. You're going to contest their shot just being there. Now guys are making those threes. It's the same thing all across the board. When you get to this level, guys have to talk. Transition defense, they have to be engaged, not only themselves, but they have to be engaged with their teammates. And Nate is a guy that's a connector on the floor because he talks. He's a guy that is going to not only be in the right place himself, but he's going to make sure 1, 2, 3 other guys are in the right place every time down the floor. Now, what you hope is that you can find a group of guys that are connected. And if Nate's the guy that's driving that, if he's the straw that stirs the drink, you might say, hey, that's going to be a big thing for us, especially in November and December.
Coach, can you kind of elaborate a little bit on what the treatment plan is for Nick and kind of the timeline on, whether he'll be ready to go or not?
I know he's been working around the clock. I'm not kind of privy to exactly what he's doing. I know he's in there a ton, and he's working, as hard at that as he does, on the floor. And, Jeff does a tremendous job with our guys of getting them ready, getting them recovered. So I have no doubt that he's in a good place, in terms of getting back sooner. But really day to day, we'll just figure that out.
Joe, when you talk about Nate being a guy that could kind of stir things for you guys, but what about Ashton? How happy are you with his? His stats look really good. But what about just his on-court leadership?
I think it can be better. I'm harder on him probably than most, because he's a guy that is doing everything that Cal is asking him to do. He's playing hard. He's putting pressure on the ball. He's flying the ball up the floor. Now we've got to get him, to be the same as Nate, in that he's grabbing people, he's pulling people, and taking them with him. He should be a guy that is challenging guys to play as hard as he plays, to be in the right places, to execute. So you're happy with his individual performance, but if we're going to be who we hopefully can be, he's going to be a big reason by grabbing other people and dragging other people. And that's who he's going to be at the next level. He's going to have to be a guy that makes people uncomfortable, and then they get better.